I've got to say, watching this room grow and develop over the years that I've been coming to these breakfasts is incredible. This went from a small, scrappy group of driven, well, cypherpunks to a degree, to a far more robust audience, and actually has become, as Kristen was alluding to, this is the room where it happens. This is the room where the talent exists to drive the maturation of this industry. So congratulations, Paul. Got to hand it to you. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Robert Reuter. I'm Executive Director of the Inclusive Design Institute, entrepreneur in residence at the Office of Economic Development at the University of Nevada, as well as Nevada's representative in the U.S. Blockchain Council, which, for those of you that aren't familiar, is an initiative of the Global Blockchain Business Council. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with inclusive design, I'd like to touch on that for a moment. We have all experienced design choices that didn't serve our needs. As we age, as we move through life, we move through a spectrum of ability, and as we move through that spectrum of ability, we need to start thinking about the products and services that are relevant to the needs that we have in those various stages of life. Now, looking at it from an industry perspective and an enterprise perspective, we need to make sure that the products and the services that we are offering can reach the broadest possible customer base without the cost of adaptation. So inclusive design, depending on the view and the vantage point that we're looking at it, has great relevance to all of us in this room. Now, I'm here today to announce the project that I've been back in Nevada tooling away at, and it's the reason why I haven't been here in person in the last several months. And that is a little project that we are calling DARPI. This is a Digital Asset Research and Policy Institute. And at DARPI, we are looking forward to exploring the actual application of the technologies. We believe that as the industry is maturing, it's time that we stop talking in theoretical use cases and instead apply these technologies so that we can come back with tangible, quantifiable measurements of success through applied research. And so with that being said, the primary focus of DARPI is going to be supporting the industry in this next chapter where we can start talking in use cases in the history of the lives that were touched with the technologies that are developed by the companies that are represented in this room. So a quick preview of DARPI. We've been doing a lot of coalition building over the last couple of years. As Eric was alluding to, we will be marching in lockstep with CyberSmart, bringing Georgetown, Notre Dame, as well as Virginia Tech into the consortium of thought leadership that helps drive the decisions that we make in the research and the topics. Really excited to continue engaging with USC, excited for your conference this year. For those of you that didn't make it last year, put it on your calendars today. That is the conference to attend, and you'll have a chance to visit us on the western half of the country. So in addition to that, we've recently joined the Project Liberty Alliance. It is an alliance of 111 organizations to include Stanford, MIT, Aspen Institute. The list goes on, and I will spare you the entire list. But in coalition, we're looking at about 115 different academic institutions that we'll have access to, again, to guide our thoughts and our programming as we move forward. So one of the that I'm actually most excited about is based right there at the University of Nevada, and that's the International Gaming Institute. And I'm going to do a little bit of a deeper dive on why that's relevant in just a little bit here. So when we're looking at applied research, we want to make sure that we're exploring new market segments. For those of us in the room, it's a degree of preaching to the choir because we engage with digital assets and we engage with people that engage with digital assets. But if we're looking at expanding the reach and the resilience of this industry, we need to start looking at how do we design for the people that are not currently engaged. So exploration of these new markets and the impacts that we may be able to have on those markets is where we're going to start our focus. This is also going to provide, for those government affairs folks in this room, this is going to provide credible, nonprofit, third-party research that can be used to inform policy and to also further prove the hypotheses that have been brought forward through the use cases and the promises that this industry has made on the developments that we will be moving into. So why Nevada? right? Like a lot of people don't really take our state very seriously, especially if we look at my primary home in Las Vegas. And I'm a personal believer that the reason why people don't take us serious is because Nevada's a great mirror. And when people come to visit our fair city, they see that their actions and behaviors are maybe aside from their normal day-to-day actions and behaviors, and they project that onto the city. But I will say that Nevada is extraordinarily motivated and agile when it comes to developing not only regulation, but precedent surrounding emerging and maturing industries. So whether we are looking at the now national movement of sports betting and gambling, or if we are looking at the legalization of cannabis, when it came to the regulation and precedent that was set in Nevada, we are agile in a way that no other state is. And so with that being said, in partnership with programs such as the International Gaming Institute, we actually have an opportunity to engage in financial service research that includes the entire United States banking regulation stack of requirements and adds an additional layer to that regulatory stack of gaming and gambling commission compliance. So I'm a firm believer that Nevada is a natural home for us to look at how do we use a state as a laboratory to determine best practices on how we can move forward with regulation at the federal level. So I want to touch quite briefly, I know that we're short on time, but on the two pilot projects that we are currently looking at when it comes to the research. One of those is casino remittance. When it comes to international remittance, when it comes to the movement of money across borders, the casinos have stringent guidelines that include KYC, AML, and real-time sanctions checks. With that being said, their back offices are moving money at a rate that is unfathomable. And they're moving into jurisdictions all around the world, whether it's a transfer to their own property that exists within another regulatory environment, such as Macau or Dubai, or whether they're moving the money of their players into the casino cage. These stakeholders are highly motivated to decrease the friction of the movement of money. So unlike the industry partners in banking that are actually incentivized by maintaining friction in that space, the casinos want that cash in their vault as quickly and as inexpensively as possible. And working with IGI, we will have an opportunity to do research hand in glove with the regulators to more deeply explore this territory. And there's another project that I'm quite excited about that's more focused on humanitarian efforts. And the areas of exploration that we're looking to dive into are areas where privacy and preservation of life are one and the same. So when it comes to privacy in digital transactions and data management, we believe that this will put a firm stake in the ground on the potential that exists with the technologies being developed by the people in this room. So on that note, I'm very excited to partner with anyone that is currently operating in this space. As a 501c3, there is limited capacity for industry support. At the same time, working in lockstep with our industry partners so that we have the subject matter expertise available when it's appropriate for our research is going to mean the world to us. Anyone that is researching and actually applying these technologies for social change, please come and speak with me after this meeting. Thank you so much, Paul, and thank you.